Hi, this is Faith and Literacy, and welcome to part 2, where I break down alphabetic recognition and alphabetic principle. In part 1, I talked about the differences between the two and why these skills are so important. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out part 1, then come back and take a listen to part 2, where I'm going to be talking about teaching strategies for these skills, as well as some activities that you can do at home and in school. So if you are a teacher, a parent, a homeschooling educator, or any educational specialist, don't go anywhere. Take a listen at some strategies and activities that you can do with your kids during the summer or during the school year. So if you recall, alphabetic recognition is that ability to identify and name all upper and lowercase letters, to distinguish letters from any other graphemes or symbols that they see written, and also to associate those letter names with their corresponding visual forms. So what are some teaching strategies that you can do with your kids when it comes to alphabetic recognition? Number 1, start with letter names and shapes. Introduce a few letters at a time, mixing upper and lowercase letters. Make sure that you use visuals, letter books, as well as manipulatives to help your kids make those connections. Leads to number 2, using a multi-sensory approach. That means you are incorporating visuals, auditory, kinesthetic, as well as tactile activities that's going to strengthen their letter knowledge. What I mean by that, visual, like flashcards, auditory, like sounds or songs, kinesthetic, like tracing activities, and tactile, like having them feel sandpaper letters or forming letters out of clay, for example. All of these activities are going to help your kids to make better connections to those letters, the letter names, and their shapes. And number 3, integrate letter sounds. Once your students recognize letters, start to introduce the most common sounds. Say the letter, its sound, and show a picture. For example, you have the picture of the letter B. You're going to say that name, say its sound, and then show them the picture of the letter B. You can also have a flashcard that not only shows the letter B, but also a picture associated with that letter, like a ball. Now, when you are introducing kids to letter names and shapes, start with the letters that are in their name. That's going to be the most common letters that they're going to initially be seeing. Now, alphabetic principle refers to the understanding that letters and combination of letters represent sounds or phonemes in a spoken language. And this knowledge is going to enable kids to decode or read, as well as encode and write. So here are some teaching strategies that you can do with alphabetic principle. Number 1, you want to make sure that it is explicit letter sound instruction. That means you're going to be teaching the letters that represent certain sounds. Begin with consonants with short vowels. Avoid confusing pairs like those BDs and PQs until later. Remember, you're only going to be introducing letters a few at a time. You want to try to introduce those most common letters first, like S, A, T, P, I, or N. Number 2, you want to model blending sounds. Use phoneme boxes, or what is also referred to as Elkanon boxes, and manipulatives to demonstrate how to segment and blend phonemes or sounds into words. Number 3, word building with letter tiles. You can use letter tiles from an old Scrabble board or those magnetic refrigerator ladders, and you want to focus on how changing one letter changes the sound and the meaning. So here you're going to help kids realize how they can manipulate words. So you might spell out S-A-T, then change that S to an H, which is H-A-T. And they're going to realize how that sat became hat. So you're also enforcing phonemic awareness as well as phonological awareness, helping kids be able to recognize sounds as well as to manipulate those sounds. Now, what are some activities that you can do to help reinforce alphabetic recognition and alphabetic principle? Well, first and foremost, pick up a copy of Faith and Literacy's Summer Literacy Workbook for preschool kids. This workbook is going to help to reinforce their alphabetic recognition as well as their fine motor coordination, both skills which are important in this stage of life. This book practices not only alphabetic principle and alphabetic recognition skills, but also some other skills that are important at this level. So check out my TikTok shop or go to faithandliteracy.com to take a look at this workbook and more workbooks that can help reinforce these skills. Now, some other activities outside the workbooks that you can do. One is an alphabetic scavenger hunt. Here you're going to need some alphabet cards, sticky notes, right, and some markers. You're going to place alphabet cards around the room or around your home. And you're going to ask your kids to find items that start with the same sound that's displayed on the letter. For example, if they find the letter S, then they might bring back a sock or even a spoon. Now, why this works. This activity links letter recognition with sound awareness and real-world objects, fostering phonological connections and, of course, helping to promote automaticity, which is essential for reading fluency down the road. Another activity that you can do is rainbow writing and tracing. Here you're going to need some letter outlines. You can pick up maybe a stencil with letters and some crayons or some colored pencils. Now, your kids are going to be tracing each letter multiple times and they can use different colors. You can then add letter sounds each time that they trace. This works because it's combining handwriting practice with auditory input that reinforces letter shape, name, and sound through a multi-sensory engagement. Now, if you are interested in some more activities and teaching strategies that you can do, check out my blog at aplushometutoring.com. And also make sure that you check out my TikTok shop or go to faithandliteracy.com for resources that you can use for kids in preschool all the way up to 8th grade.